When Spielberg directed Jaws, he was only 26, which is crazy. I'm almost 26 and I can't imagine directing something as big as Jaws. So with the 50th anniversary this year, I thought it'd be fun to recreate 3 shots from Jaws, and maybe get a glimpse into what it was like for a 26-year-old Spielberg. Spoiler, it sucked. The biggest problem during production were the sharks. Yeah, sharks. They built 3 25-foot-long mechanical sharks, each costing $500,000 in 1975, which equates to $3 million per shark today. They were also all named
Bruce. That's my lawyer's name. I named the shark after my lawyer.
We definitely don't have that kind of money, and whatever shark we get has to fit in my garage and my truck, so we're gonna have to cut some corners.
That's crazy. We're just walking through the store and we just stumbled upon this.
This miniature Bruce will work for our first shot, which is a recreation of the movie poster since it's so iconic. But we're going to need to build a much larger shark for our last shot. Bruce is 25 feet long, but we only see the front half of him in the shot. So for our shark, we won't have to build past the dorsal fin, making our build only 12.5 feet long. That's still massive and heavy. In order to pull this shot off, we're gonna have to have someone safely operating the shark in the water. So we're gonna make our shark half-sized, still making our build 6 feet long. And speaking of water, it's gonna have to be waterproof. And that's actually something Spielberg ran into when making Jaws. Spielberg wanted to shoot Jaws in the open ocean, but the sharks weren't built to handle the salt water, and that's why they constantly broke down, taking Jaws from a planned 55-day production to a 159-day production. We don't have to deal with salt water, but water in general is not easy to deal with. We'd build the body out of trash bins and then use PVC pipe to hold its shape. We'd then need some way to shape the head, something like a combination of wood and chicken wire. Then something strong for the jaws, which would be movable. I'm pretty sure that'll all hold up in the water, but then we have to make it look like a shark. We'll need to build and attach a bunch of teeth, eyes, cover it in fabric, and spray paint the whole thing, which all needs to be waterproof. But we're not quite there yet. One step at a time.
Yeah, like that's given. This is given shark.
And step 1 is to wrap up shot 1. 1 shot down, 2 to go. This shot from Jaws is extremely unique due to something called a dolly zoom, which you get by dollying and zooming at the same time. I'm just gonna show you. Zooming is pretty self-explanatory, and all you need to do it is the right kind of lens. Something with a range of numbers like this. When you zoom though, you get this unique effect called lens compression, which is why the background looks closer to the subject when zoomed in. Dollying means physically moving the camera. And since you're moving, what you see changes, which is called parallax. This is why the leaves are covering this house less when we dolly in. These differences between the two are the reason both look so different from each other. But if we combine the two, but opposite of each other, like dollying in and zooming out, we get a background that appears to stretch away from our subject. This is often used in movies to create a sense of unease since it's so trippy. And that's exactly why Spielberg decided to use it here. But ours is not quite the same as the one in Jaws. So it's time to do some research on what lens they're using. Jeez, a 50 to 500? That is a 10 times zoom. And it wasn't easy to find one, but I did find one. A 28 to 300 millimeter. So I rented it and waited for it to arrive.
There we go.
Whoa, that's a big lens. 28 to... Oh, wait, huh? What? How does it zoom?
Huh, whoa.
Whoa! Wait, how are we gonna make that a smooth thing then? If you aren't a filmmaker or photographer, you might not understand why this is so weird. Jeez. Well, every zoom lens I have ever used zooms like this. You twist. Much smoother. That's what I was planning on. That is very unique. But for this lens, you have to physically pull it out to zoom. So that's a problem. Which is worse. Why? Why is this the way that it is? I don't understand. I've never. I have this lens rented for about a week. We spent money renting it, and we might not be able to find another 10 times zoom lens in time for our shoot, so let's try and figure out how to make this work. We set up a test the day before our shooting day. We of course tried doing the dolly zoom by hand first, but no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't get a smooth zoom.
Holy crap.
We did have a backup idea though. We could use a fishing reel. A fishing reel would take away some of the human error and give us a mechanical way to push and pull the lens.
Action. Oh,
Oh,
the line broke. Yeah, it was too tight.
Well, that was sort of my only idea.
I'm calling my brother.
The dolly zoom is only part of the shot though. We're also going to need a beach. Now, I don't live very close to the ocean, but I do live in Michigan, which is right next to a lake that looks like an ocean. So I scheduled a day to head out there and scout it. It involved a lot of planning, but that's where the sponsor of this video, Milanote, comes in. Milanote is a tool that helps you organize your ideas visually. Think of it almost like a digital corkboard. I use it all the time when I do recreation projects, and I honestly don't know what I'd do without it. For this location scout, there's a few things we'll need to pack.
Holy crap.
yeah.
You just put a 27-pound sandbag in there?
Yeah, I didn't want it to be too light.
So we'll make a checklist on Milanote to make sure that we don't forget anything.
We're hardly even 10 minutes in.
I also used Milanote earlier to keep track of lens options and behind-the-scenes reference materials. I didn't even have to download or screenshot these images. I just linked to them using the web clipper tool. And once we have our location picked,
There it is.
I can use one of Milanote's templates to get me started. Even if you're not a filmmaker, there's a lot of options to choose from. But for this project, I chose the pre-production template. From here, I can add notes, arrows, video clips, and even link to the location we're shooting at, all in a visually appealing way. Then I can share that with my whole crew, either to collaborate and add information, or just to view so that they know when and where to show up. And then I can take that with me anywhere using the Milanote app, which is extremely helpful when going out on location.
Oh, frickin' hill. I'm so tired.
You can sign up for Milanote for free with no time limit by clicking the link in the description.
For as much as that sucked, we can definitely film here.
Thanks again, Milanote, for sponsoring this video. Now, let's go out to that location and shoot for real. We got started early since it would be an 1.5-hour hike to the beach. And it involved carrying all of our gear up and down dunes the entire way. It was brutal. And all this to avoid a busy beach in August. Maybe that was the wrong call. But we did make it to the beach, and we began setting up our dolly. With film productions, more variables means more things that could go wrong, so I try to limit the variables. And right now, that stupid lens is the biggest variable. I really wanted this lens to work. I needed just one less variable. This is a wireless motor called follow focus. If I turn this wheel, it turns the motor, which turns the ring on the lens. We knew our best solution would include this motor, because then we could get a really controlled zoom. But with our rented lens, there's no place to connect this motor to. Many follow focus systems include one of these rings, which is then wrapped around the lens like this to connect to the motor, which is what I was planning on being able to do.
You would have to find a way to attach a line of teeth along the length of the lens.
So your motor's here, your teeth is here, and it goes all the way to that point.
Our new idea is to take one of these rings, tape it to the top of the lens, cut it to length, and set up the motor to pull the lens in and out.
That's kind of working.
Fingers crossed.
It's a bit janky, but theoretically, it could work.
Why isn't this working? Oh, there we go. I just need to be in the right mode.
Dude, that's working though.
Not only is it working, it's really working.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Right at the end of the day, using materials we already had on hand, we somehow managed to create what is potentially the best possible solution for zooming this lens. I honestly thought we were kind of screwed. I still can't believe how well this worked. Now we just had to do the same at the beach.
3, 2, 1, action.
It took a bit longer, but we got the shot. Now, we just have one shot left. And obviously, with that beach location being an 1.5-hour long hike, there's no way we're going to be able to get our shark out there. So we needed a different location.
All right.
Any body of water, really, but ideally something with a dock. And then we'd bring our shark out there and do a test to make sure it won't just start sinking like when they made Jaws. Yeah, that actually happened the first time they tried using the shark. It sank straight to the bottom of the ocean. So to keep that from happening, Ethan went in.
gonna try and drag this guy in?
Not alone. Dude, this thing is so heavy.
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's sinking like the frickin' Titanic.
Yeah, it's going down.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so definitely too heavy.
Well, glad we tested. That's why we test.
Before we address the buoyancy though, let's actually make this shark look like a shark. The first step was the teeth, which were 3D printed with holes on the bottom to make them easier to attach to the shark.
I put the tooth going the wrong direction.
There were 28 teeth in total, and for every one of them we had to mark the position, drill holes, and bolt it in place. And once that was done, it was time for the skin, which was just a giant sheet of fabric. This step would really reveal if what we've built actually looks like a shark. And I feel like it did. But that's only half of the skin. We then had to cover the entire shark in a layer of caulk. Caulk is generally used to fill in cracks or seal up homes, but we're using it to smooth out the skin. And once caulk dries, it's waterproof. But that meant waiting another day before the next step, which is painting. It's just a simple coat of gray on the top and white on the bottom. And I was very excited by how good this was starting to look. I added the dorsal fin on top, and Anna made the eyes out of these plastic globe halves, painting the inside of them black and placing them in holes she cut out of the shark. And then she built up some caulk around them to make them look more natural, which she did for the nostrils too. Then it was back outside for more painting.
You know, I hadn't even considered. I really hope this thing can hold together in water.
Well, it's too late to turn back now. It took us a full month and a half, but we finally got the shark done. And I was so happy with the result. All we had left to do now was to bring it out to our location and get the shot.
Oh, frick. The shark flew out the back of the truck.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Touch-up kit back at your place?
I've got more caulk, but the caulk has to dry. We have fabric and sewing. We need to paint it.
It was a stupid mistake. I just used one strap on the shark because I thought it'd be fine. And then the shark just pretty much took flight out the back of my truck.
Frick.
The damage wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, but to fix it, we needed time. We need to stitch it up and then add caulk, which technically needs a day to dry to become waterproof. And only then could we paint it, which should dry for another 12 hours. So we did what we could to expedite the process. Made sure the shark was secure this time, and then we headed out to our shoot. We got the shark down to the dock and began prepping it for the water.
Inflatables.
To address the buoyancy, I bought these inflatable tubes which fit perfectly inside the shark. We also decided to tie rope to the shark so if it did go down, we could more easily pull it back up. All we hoped was to get the shot before anything went wrong.
If it is too heavy, let us know and get out of the way.
Yes. See the rope? The rope will slide on top.
How's it feel?
Oh,
Feels good.
Wait, is it?
It's floating.
It's floating? Are you kidding?
Is it totally floating?
That's crazy.
You were there, it's
Okay,
done.
we gotta take inflatables out.
Wait, inflatable's out, that's why it's floating.
We didn't want the shark to float.
Unless you guys are gonna push it down, it has to sink a little.
He can't really.
We just needed it to be less heavy.
Take a few floaties out. Take it out.
Oh my God.
Two at a time. So that's hard to say.
So we began deflating the floaties. But even still, the shark was too buoyant.
Someone has to go under the water and just hold it.
It's hard to get leverage.
The sun started going down and the water was too cold.
Right there.
We didn't get the shot.
So somehow the shark is too buoyant. And I don't understand how that happened.
I think I do though. When we cover the shark in fabric, we basically think that we made an air pocket at the nose. Now, this is actually perfect, because then we can let the air out as needed to get it to sink without it being too heavy.
Regardless, it's late September and the water is getting colder.
Our previous location was a river. The constant movement of the water means that the sun isn't able to heat it up as quickly. So for our next location, we're thinking something like a lake. Why not a pool? Well, that's why. We can see straight to the bottom. Not very ocean-like. Fortunately, we have a location in mind. And somehow, the first weekend in October is supposed to reach 80 degrees. This is likely to be our last chance. So let's go recreate our last shot from Jaws. First, we're gonna need a place for the actor to sit, which is me. This location had a dock just like the previous one, but we couldn't use it because the water was too shallow. And so we decided to build a platform. We made the top out of wood and built the legs from PVC to hammer into the lake bed. Then we could place the wood on top and get a stable platform.
I'm losing it. That's not good.
With a few modifications. Water is kind of difficult to film in. Next, we needed to get the camera set up really high over the water, so we decided to use a C-stand in the water. We carefully brought the camera out and raised it up high. Now, all that was left was the shark. I wasn't in the water when we filmed this, but I was told that the shark was extremely heavy and the water was super cold. However, everyone in the water was determined to go until we got it. Just like Spielberg at 26, I think I might have underestimated just how hard this would be. And in true Jaws fashion, this 1 month video ended up taking 3 months. But I had so much fun getting to make this with friends, and it might not be perfect, but I think the shark we built is pretty cool.
Good take.
Yes!
We'll say that's a wrap before the camera dies.
Oh, that's a wrap!
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
Now I just need to figure out where to put it.